Well, let me see. How do you test this thing?
No, it's connected, and the green thing.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, we're happy to have you here tonight at the Teaching and Healing Circle, or the 12 Steps and the Red Road. I guess the first thing I'd like to do is we've cleared some space. And Ashley just worked on my body because I had a big pain in my back. And then I had a pain in the neck before that. And I said, what's the metaphor here? Who's my pain in the neck and who's trying to backstab me? So that's a betrayal of the non-progressive Great Spirit, which is creating sacred space so people can heal. And Ashley's done a heck of a job of doing that. She's my friend. And we were talking earlier about addictions, how alcoholics, like I went to 12 years of AA meetings, and because I'm stupid in some ways, I'm ignorant. So that's the facades or the faces we put up, like subscribe to me, like more is better. Well, we'll have to do, if you're true to yourself, you'll be true to anybody else. True means true in blue, true blue. So the metaphors of the World Wide Web, that's a spider. So the web is, if the internet went out, how many people could deal with this? Because we get on these Zoom things and fail to, like I've got an attorney working on my end of life. I'm leaving things to my sweet wife, who I love dearly. But love is not jealous. Love is giving attention. That's Ashley and I were talking about that earlier about. And usually I start with a prayer, but we've done that. I got a nice massage because I had some pain in my body. And I think there's so many acts out there, especially on the internet. I mean, Mandy's spends a lot of time, and when she gets around technology, it kind of explodes. So some people. So I wanted to talk about the steps and speak from. I wanted to speak from my experience and strength. Talking about is safer, but speaking from takes courage. So that's will. I will do this class and be authentic and real. And now the real and authentic is never threatened. So nothing sacred is ever threatened. Nothing unsacred exists. So in teaching the Red Road, I learned the different facets of walking around the wheel, which is the drums. Some drums are facets because they're 16-sided and 8-sided. The Cherokees have a 7-sided drum. So we're not a part store. Like, a part of me wants to do this, but another part of me wants to do that. We're whole and complete. We're spiritual beings in a human experience. And I've learned that there's no wrong way to pray. Your life is a prayer. So every morning my intention is to not look at the clock and when I wake up I stretch. Last night I was nursing my injury in my back. I had a dream of it was so real. So they say when we die, nobody dies, we just go back to the spirit world. And then we say, damn, I should have done this, I should have done that. Well, one of these days I might do that. That's based on procrastination. That's putting off the good. The root of that is Procrastus, who was in Greek mythology. Procrastus was an innkeeper, and they only had one bed. And you slept in his bed, and if you didn't fit, he'd come in and cut your arms and legs off. So, Procrastus is, you have to face Procrastus, which means your point of power is always the present moment. And if you have some agenda, play is defined as having no agenda. Frankie knows how to play. So he was showing me this video of Frankie playing the drum. The adults come in and they hit that drum and he just goes, I say, we're not taught to play. There's no time to play after work. So, balance in Alcoholics Anonymous is a little work, a little play, a little prayer, and good friends that you can count on. That's Taurus. That's the earth signs. So Miss Ashley is a ram and a goddess and smart as a whip. But intellect is the whore of intelligence. So smart people. I used to do a class up on. Actually, I didn't do a class. I was living with a woman, pretty woman, Luann. She had 20 acres up in Klickitat, Washington. And we lived in a teepee for 3 months, and none of us wore clothes. And we'd get up and eat when we were hungry. We took our watches, no watches, and took our clothes off. And shit, and then dug a hole in the shit, and then covered it back up. And so we had a pee bucket in a teepee. It was an 18-foot teepee, and right by the Klickitat River. And it was a big, steep road getting down there, so it's hard to get down there unless you had a four-wheel drive or put rocks in the back of your car or truck. So I had that little Dodge Ram, and I'd put rocks in the back, or sandbags in the back, and I'd get that thing all the way down there. And I'd never felt so free, because it's like living life authentically. And when you're hungry, eat. Not at time to eat. How the watch keeps feeding our addictions. Yeah, what is, because I'm 51 years without alcohol. Because I drank till I couldn't get drunk anymore. And I went to 12 years of daily AA meetings, sometimes 3 times a day. And the program says if you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. So the number is 12 steps. So what's the hardest step? The first step. Say, I'm thinking about climbing that mountain. Well, thinking it's not an action word. Thinking is my best thinking got me drunk. So think, think, think. That's one of the slogans in AA. That means pause before you do something impulsive. That's patience. The drum, the heart. The heart is our green. It's a green chakra. Our throat is like afraid to speak my truth. Afraid of authentic and real. Being real. And to meet someone that's real, that you can trust, is a beautiful thing. And I had to learn to trust myself, because I'm a double Scorpio, and I have a lot of upside and downside. My upside is a dragon, so I was born the year of the dragon. And Schmang, and all the dragons. And that song, Puff the Magic Dragon, says dragons live forever, but not so little boys. So Puff and the little boy were best friends. And when the little boy grew up, Puff just went out into the sea. But who dies? We just go back to spirit. Every night we die. So what I've learned in the Red Road is the non-progressive Great Spirit. There's nowhere to get to. So there's only presence. That's the first step of volition. I was quizzing my friend here, Ashley, about volition, and she's a fast learner. And sometimes I never know what I'm going to say, because improv is play. Playing is, that's like, I did a tape with a guy called Remembering. Ashley got it. It was me playing the drums and him playing the flute. And then he played the drums and I'd play flute. But I was, when he pushed that record button, my butt just went like that. It's like, now I have to put on my act. But keep it simple, stupid. That's what they learned in recovery. Say, the first step is the hardest, and that's admit that I'm powerless over alcohol and my life's unmanageable. But I changed that. I'm powerless over people, places, and things. I'm powerless over computers. I'm powerless over my friend Ashley. I'm powerless over my wife. I have preferences. So living your life as improv, that's a great book. It's called Free Play. And we got lots of books that I've read a lot in my life, especially when I was young. I just devoured books, mostly on when I got sober. My sponsor says, write out your fifth step. Well, what's the fifth step? Well, the first one, we admitted we're powerless. The second step's, my sponsor says, there's two things you need to know about God. One, there is one. Number two, you're not. So I read this book called Not God. And because if love is everywhere, is unconditional, then you love the one you're with, starting with you. So how I treat myself, like to a massage. Ashley's got great hands, and she's a good friend. And I'm double Scorpio, so I have sexual energy, but I'm too old to get it up. You know, it takes a lot to get me, because I've seen a lot of acts in my life and a lot of pretty women. I've learned that all that glitters is not gold. So, Uncle Bob was supposed to be here. Let me turn this over to my friend Ashley and let her talk some.
What am I supposed to talk about?
Speak from, don't talk about.
Okay. I've been reading this book by Jamie Sams. It's the 13 Original Clan Mothers. Every moon cycle has a clan mother, and this month's moon, the 5th moon, is Listening Woman. So clan mother of discernment, the clan mother of stillness, of finding the stillness so that you can access your inner voice and listen to all others deeply. And once you are able to listen, you will unlock the power of love for those who are speaking. So that moon cycle is about to conclude. I think the new moon is on the 16th, and there will be the 6th moon that'll come.
Is anybody waiting?
Nope.
Okay. I'll go call Bob. You keep talking.
Oh, no. Well, whoever's watching this is how he tricks me. He brings me over here, tells me I'm lying all the time, which I guess... And so in June, another thing that Jamie Sams talks about in this book, The 13 Original Clan Mothers, is that a woman has suffering built into her life and therefore needs no additional suffering to be able to access the visions within her. So, on a woman's vision quest, she should seek out the woods or a place of refuge for at least 3 days, and either on her cycle, on her moon, or the full moon, or the new moon, and be, and create, and express. And she instructs that you should light a fire, tend to the fire all night, and sleep all day. So, in the beginning of June, I'm going to go on my first stillness retreat in the woods on Patrick's Land in Bear Creek. I will bring food and water, because unlike a man's vision quest where starvation and suffering helps to bring about the vision, I'll find a way to see. All right.
All right. Well, I just called Bob, and he's one of my good friends up in Minnesota. He's an elder like me. He's got a bigger beard than I do. Anyway, I'll get to look at what Ashley said. I remember I had a good friend I sweat with for many years. I got adopted into the Grovant tribe. They're up in Fort Belknap, Montana. And Joe Iron Man was the medicine man. And they have 2 pipes. They have a flat pipe and a feathered pipe. And Pipestone, Minnesota is where the pipe is called the blood of the mother. Because women shed blood. They're a cycle. So how you love a woman, you gotta love the dark and the light. Because the facade is that act we put up. But my teacher, I said, would you come and do a pipe ceremony for us? He said, sure. So he came and he handed me the pipe and says, okay, you're going to do it. I said, what? I can't do it. He just sat there and looked at me until I began. And the first time's always like the first time you had sex. I don't know your experience, but mine was awful because I went to military school as a kid, and my brother was my hero. He just died last month, and he was a lieutenant colonel in the Army, and 2 tours of Vietnam. So they honored him in a good way, and I always followed in his footsteps. So when we went to college at Marshall University back there in Huntington, back then it was college, and I think I started about in 1959, and I didn't graduate till I got sober. And then I went for the life experience, and I was a stockbroker in New York, and I was also a fundraising consultant, and I raised lots of money. I learned from my uncle. And they say it's hard to love your dad. I had to move 2,000 miles away from him to find out who I was. Because if I was too far, I couldn't be myself. If I would go back to Huntington, oh, you're Froggy's boy. So, yeah, have your pecking order in your family system. But as a therapist, I studied a lot of therapy. There's behavioralism, which means that's Oregon's answer to addictions. He says, give a man abuse, make them throw up when they drink. Well, that wasn't my way. My way was I had to spend 30 days in a mental institution. And then I did a drum circle for Nike up on Mount Hood at Canita, which is a Native American casino up there, and they had a beautiful place. And Nike rented it to do workshops, and they invited me to come and do a drum circle. So, little did I know that Ken Kesey was in the audience. I was out there, and I did a circle, and I said, man, I was on target. I nailed it. And Ken Kesey came up after me and said, man, you were amazing. He said, it was like Fritz Perls out there. That was my hero, Fritz Perls. Because he was an addict. He was a chain smoker. But he was real and authentic. He'd go to church, and if he didn't like the sermon, he'd start rolling down the aisle. So he was crazy. He wrote a book called In and Out of the Garbage Pail. And he was an amazing therapist. But, we all have our gifts. My gift's drum making, I guess, or following my heart, and not my penis, which is my lower nature. But thank God I'm 85 now, and I very seldom get an erection. I'm able to help people and see because I trust myself more. I was telling Ashley, I ain't the man I want to be, but thank God I'm not the man I used to be. So it's like the 4, we always talk in terms of 4, and I give credit to Angelus Arian, who wrote The Fourfold Way, and to the Sacred Tree that taught me the importance of winter, summer, fall, walking all the way around the wheel. That means some people are great starters, but they can't complete the gestalt. So it's like, I had to pee, so I gave it to Ashley. I went in there and peed and called Bob, and he said, I'll be there. So we got to look out for Bob. But it's called a teaching circle. I much prefer to do it in person because you're so much, it's called giving your presence. So we usually do that at Christmas. But presence is P-R-E-S-N, presence, like attention. So I learned from Michael Murphy, who started Esalen. That was the place I always wanted to go, and then I got to go. And they had Aldous Huxley and Fritz Perls, and some amazing teachers down there. And I went with Reinhardt, who's an amazing teacher that I brought here from Austria. He was also in the mental institution. He was a genius. And then I took him to the golf course, and he couldn't hit a golf ball. So I say, just because you're a genius in one area doesn't make you a genius in others. So that's what the tribal way is. It's like the Cedar Mountain tribe. Gets few people you can trust, and it's easy. If you try to do it all yourself, it's the Atlas. I can do it all. So it's about humility, which is one of the steps in AA. We humbly ask Spirit to remove these blocks to our presence. I think they call it defects of character, but I changed the language a little bit. And cut yourself some slack, because one of the 4 addictions is intensity. Like I can't sit still, I can't be present. I can listen so far, but then I have to do something. That's good Aries energy. Because I got a lot on my plate. So.
And I put it all on my plate.
I can do it all. That's called the Atlas myth. So, just say, don't let anybody put you on a pedestal because it's a hard fall. So, learn how to listen. That's the holy part of communication. So when we do a talking stick, I can speak, but I can also listen. Sometimes you get with a bunch of guys and none of them listen. You're just waiting ready to talk. So we used to have talking circles here. I am Patrick. And then I'd throw a ball. And every time that ball touches you, you say, I touch. And she'd throw it to somebody else and they'd say, touch, the moment it touches your hand. So it's giving your presence, is giving your attention. That's what Nike's all about. Golf and tennis and boxing, whatever you're interested in. And they sell a lot of beer and insurance on those things. And addictions don't come in substances, they come in people. That's what I've learned. Like I'm addicted to intensity. That's one of the 4. But I'm learning pause, listen. I've got a back problem. I got something I'm not dealing with. This too will pass. Don't take it personally. So then cancer is nothing more than what are you eating and what's eating you. So if you got something eating you, that's the dark goddess, or the wild man, the wild woman, women who run with the wolves. It's like they're running packs. And men have that Atlas myth, most of them, a lot of them. I want to be at the top, but that's an awful hard place to fall from. There are no leaders in AA, we're only trusted servants. And those things were drilled in my head. The second step is come to believe that a power greater than me can restore me to sanity. And so I, being a counselor, I said, what is sanity? And I looked it up. It says balance. That's what I liked. Restored me to balance. It means a little work, a little play, and taking care of myself. Because if I started making drums and people want me to make them a drum, and I got addicted to drum making. Well, that's a positive addiction, because we are a vibration. There's a lot of sound healers that come in the store. They say tones is not what you say. Like, I used to go to Martin Heiber's circles, and he could be reading a telephone book, and the people would be mesmerized by his voice because he was relaxed. He was, there ain't no big deals and there ain't no big wheels. So I asked my wise sponsor, what can I do about all this gossip I hear? Don't do it yourself. Oh, okay. I'd go back to my sponsor. I said, these people are the most unfriendly people in the world. He said, did you stick your hand out and introduce yourself to anybody? No. I was afraid. So, fear is false evidence appearing real. So, I'm afraid is Bob not here yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, my tech person's here, so I'm happy because she knows a lot about things. But for her to have the patience to teach it. Patience is heart. Say. That's ending time. What time did you wake up this morning? Well, I woke up when I woke up. What'd you do? I stretched. Because I watched my dog once. It stretched the first time it woke up. It didn't say, God, I got work to do. What do I got to do? So, the first hour of your day is how it sets the tone. So in the morning, the crack of dawn's when I'm up. Because I love that morning. It's a magical time. I used to drink and be up all night. When I was drinking, I'd go to work at 6 o'clock at night, thinking it was 6 o'clock in the morning. Say, alcoholics don't. Alcoholics don't go to sleep. They pass out. And they don't wake up, they come to. So, some of those great songs that Sunday morning coming down, like it's the weekend, so let's get drunk. That's my old fraternity. Drunk last night, drunk the night before, gonna get drunk tonight like I never got drunk before. And they were a racist bunch of people. And these fraternities, but my brother got kicked out of a fraternity, so I wanted revenge, so I joined an SA fraternity and got initiated. But I wasn't interested in learning. I wanted to chase women. I was smart enough to last about 3 years, and then I flunked out as a marshal. And then my dad sent me down to his uncle's where he was working on a Southern Baptist school over there in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina. And I was not quite a Southern Baptist because we were drinking all the time. And there was no drinking, no dancing. So this is a very strict Southern Baptist school. So they say the more rules there are, the more people rebel. So if you tell yourself, I've got to do that one of these days, that's called procrastination. I've already talked about procrastination. Because your point of power is in the present moment. It's like, be here now, Ram Dass. Be here now. There's nowhere to get to. Always do your best. forgive yourself when you don't hit the mark of perfectionism, which is the second addiction. Like, cut myself some slack when I make drums and it's not perfect or it's got a hole in it. I'll take it to my teacher and he says, "What's wrong with the hole?" I said, "Well, it's not perfect." He says, that hole has a lot of times that's a bullet hole. That's a wounded healer. See, because all healers are very wounded themselves. That's why they become healers. And they teach what we most need to know. So talk to that person that's the west gate. We're going into the south gate now. So this is the green man. This is the planting time. Let's have a baby. You gotta have the seeds and the egg, and there's thousands of sperms trying to get that egg, and sometimes only one makes it. So the sperm is a drumstick, and the egg is the woman. They lay eggs. They have babies. And a man, they say, will never know the pain of a woman giving birth, so they sun dance. That's what they do. They pierce themselves and dance around that tree called the Tree of Life. And back where I was from, they had a different ceremony than the Sioux, because you learn from everybody. Everybody's got a genius. Everybody's got a dark side and a light side. I do. And I'm not looking for followers. We've got suggested donation, and I'm turning my for-profit business into a non-profit entity and giving everything to my wife, because I can't take a damn thing with me. And I got too much stuff. But it's like George Carlin. I asked if she'd listen to George Carlin's A Place for My Stuff. It goes something like, your girlfriend invites you to Hawaii, to her house, so you have to have a microcosm of your stuff, because you can't take all your stuff with you. So probably take a overnight bag or something with toothbrush. But that's what the girl that sees the guy she's attracted to, she says, "Can I bring my toothbrush over?" And pretty soon, "Can I have a drawer?" And sometimes a man that doesn't have balance will let the woman decorate the house. But women have taught me more than men. I spent a lot of time with men's circles. We used to have a talking dick we'd pass around rather than a talking stick. And because the phallics is shamed so much, and pornography and all this, the repression of the dark side. It's my book is called Shifting into a Real and Authentic World. And you don't want to publish your book before you die, because you're never famous till you're dead if you're still alive. So I started listening to the elders, but hell, it's hard to find an elder at 85. But I know some. I was reading where Sir Anthony Hopkins has 50 years sober. Well, I've got 51. But it's all just one day at a time. It's basically what I've learned is the natives have taught me to be here now. To just sing a song. Like Ashley's telling me about her dance. She goes to dance. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Singing and dancing. And I go out in that hot tub every morning until I start singing. And I don't sing songs, they sing me. So one of the four bones is the hollow bone. That's the flute. So a lot of people come in. I'm a drum store, but I play the flute. I used to play my own flute. That's Cocopelli that could suck his own cock. So he's humpbacked, humped over, and but he played the most beautiful music, and all the women would come and say, "Oh, what is that love flute?" They call it the courting flute. So it's like the old stories about you got to kiss the frog in order to find the prince. You got to love the dark side, because that's Persephone, who goes down into Hades for 6 months, and then in springtime she goes back out, and all the beauty, the flowers, the things we love. So I'll buy flowers for myself, buy them from Andy when she's coming.
Oh, Bob Hall is calling you.